know why you say goodbye, I say hello. Or maybe in this case, I should say goodbye. I don't know why you say hello. Okay. Yeah, that's sort of a philosophical question. Anyway, let's get over the intro here. Welcome to the Man Cave Annex here at Wistful Vistas in beautiful suburban San Diego, California. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come indeed. Tomorrow, probably the transport will be coming by and picking up the Phantom, and it will be taken to its new home in New Mexico to a gentleman I've been corresponding with back and forth. I did the final documents for him today and had some communication with the transport company. So it's coming. The Phantom is leaving and heading off to New Mexico. I mentioned the other day on my ride, I think this gentleman whose name is Tom, this gentleman I think is the perfect owner for this Panigale V4S. He's young enough, he does do track days, he's got other motorcycles, including a track machine that he rides, and he's got the right experience level and understanding, I think, not only to appreciate what's gone into this, but also to be able to utilize it out on the open road. So good on you, buddy, and ride it in good health and ride safely. Really. And I'll be standing by the side of the road crying as I see it being carted off. But I've really enjoyed my 2 years with it, and I mean for this to be a relatively short blog, just talking about experiences with the Panigale and some of the work and things that went into it. So I want to get into, number one, my overall experience with the Panigale, and let's keep it to the basic machine underneath the modifications that were done by Jarrett Campisi and Dado Rados back in 2018, late 2018, I think. So the basic machine, the Ducati experience. I'm fortunate to live within 10 miles, really, of two excellent Ducati dealers. We have Grand Prix Motorcycles in downtown San Diego and Motoforza. In fact, they're related corporately over in Escondido, that are Ducati dealerships and have access to all the latest product and latest updates and have the expertise and trained mechanics to keep these going and going well. Having said that, the overall owner experience, this thing has not broken on me. There was no original Ducati piece or part that gave me any trouble whatsoever. I want to emphasize that because Ducati's being Italian and the word is out on the internet out there. You read it every now and then. Someone says, oh, I wouldn't trust one of those things. They're... And you do hear horror stories from time to time, and I guess stuff does happen, but in my own personal experience from the dealership through to the ownership, no original Ducati piece has broken and or caused me to have to abort a journey or come back from anywhere else. Okay, so it has in fact made me a Ducati fanboy. I've got the hat that'll prove it. That is, I like the machine, I like the company, I like the mystique. I think they've got a thing going, and it's similar to on the biking world side. I think it's similar to the Ferrari mystique or the Porsche mystique that goes on, and that is when you're buying into these, when you get these, you're sort of joining a cult, you're joining a tribe, and two people getting together will, if they have a similar kind of machine, will talk about it and share their experiences. And I think that's part of the overall Ducati concept. And I'm going to miss that part, actually. I'm going to miss that part. Haven't bought the 2021 Aprilia Tuono, of course. I'm still in the Italian fold, but they do not have the name recognition that Ducati does. So a last comment on that is to stay in that thinking of name recognition. When I tell my friends who are older and typically don't know a whole lot about motorcycles, which, let's face it, is about 95% of the population. And I say, I have a motorcycle. The first thing they say is, well, is it a Harley? Everybody assumes Harley Davidson and motorcycle. The two names are almost synonymous, and why not? They've been around forever. But I'll say, no, it's an Italian machine, and they say, oh, a Ducati. So right off of a Harley Davidson, which is way over here in the cruiser concept kind of thinking, or sport type with the Sportster and stuff, and then boom, they pop way over here to the Ducati side. And those two names, how, I don't know. Maybe it's 50 to 100 years of advertising and general public gossip are ingrained in the public imagination, at least the non-riding public imagination, as the motorcycle. So they'll say, oh, a Ducati. Oh, wow, that's cool, because that's, I don't know why. Again, that's synonymous with cool. Okay, having said that, let's talk about the modifications and my experience with these modifications. Well, this machine was custom built. It was purchased new by Jared Campisi for his channel, and I'll put a link down below. And the modifications they carried out were so extensive. There's approximately $30,000 or $40,000 worth of modifications that were done to this machine that costs north of $28,000 just to buy in its stock form. They're so extensive that really would be hard to list them all. But to give you an idea of how extensively and how deeply they went, the rear subframe, which is originally a metal trellis, has been replaced with a carbon fiber version, losing a significant amount of weight. The entire gas tank, which originally is a aluminum, I believe. Might be steel, steel or aluminum, but anyway, metal, was replaced with a carbon fiber covered unit, which also got them some weight loss. So the entire machine was really reimagined. I mean, I think if Ducati could sell this as the next Speciale, they might even consider it, because in fact I think one of the higher price versions does have a carbon fiber subframe and maybe even a carbon fiber rear swing axle. I don't know, but anyway, this would be what someone would do with zero budget constraints, and they did. Having said that, the only piece that has broken on this machine that's led me stranded on the road, and I asked the question, can you have too much carbon fiber? And the answer comes back, slaps you right in the head, very resoundingly, yes, you can. And in this case, my experience is that the carbon fiber kickstand actually broke and folded. Now, was that just a single example that happened to me? Was it a overall manufacturing flaw, or just that one was bad? Don't know, can't go into there. But it affected me enough that I replaced that original carbon fiber kickstand, didn't go back and get another one, but I replaced it with the standard kickstand and had it painted black so it melds in with the rest of the machine. And looking at it now, you can't see it, I can. And looking at it right now, I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. So those constraints aside, it's been a really reliable and wonderful riding machine. How have I used it? Let's talk a little bit about how I've used it. Well, I've ridden it around on the back roads of San Diego an hour or so at a time. And I've ridden it around on our local twisties here and just had a blast doing it. For a sports machine, it's still pretty comfortable, even for an old guy. I can sit on there and ride it. My fatigue point, what wears out first on the old body, is this position of my neck, because you really want to be looking like this down the road, not like this down the road. So you're looking like this down the road. So that's a little bit of an unnatural curve to your neck. The rest of it, your body, as long as you're in reasonable shape, is actually quite comfortable. It's also set up so that you're not really like leaning or resting a whole lot of weight forward. You can press down, but when you're just riding along, there's not a lot of weight on your elbows, and it's for a sports bike now, not for not compared to, let's say, the Aprilia with its upright riding position, but for a sports bike, it's actually pretty darn comfortable. I would say that on the freeway at higher speeds, let's say 80 let's say 60 to 80 or so, or more, but I never go faster than that. It's actually even possibly more comfortable because of that fairing and the windscreen. You're pushing along a little bubble of clean air that's made possible by the aerodynamics of the front fairing. And that's how I've used it. I've not tracked it. I'd love to feel one day that I could have gone out on a track and tried it out. I am a car head, gearhead, and I have done a lot of track and raced cars myself on racetracks, race cars on racetracks. And I would have loved to think about it, but that's the next subject I want to get to, and that is, okay, I have this fantastic machine. Now, whether it came to me as fantastic as it is, or whether I did all this myself, there's an issue. If you drop it, it's going to cost you, and it's going to cost you big. And you can't insure it really for any more than the basic value of what a V4S is underneath it. And all these little add-ons, not so little, but all these add-ons are out of your pocket. Ducati won't cover it from a warranty point of view, and your insurance company is not going to cover it for an added-on aftermarket device. In fact, they will punish you for having that on there. And that part of the responsibility is in the back of your mind. So friends would say, hey, Gary, I'd love to take it out and ride it. It's tough. I've only let a couple of other people get on the machine, very few of them outside of my own little neighborhood here at Wistful Vistas. 650 Ebe was one. He was here. I was really happy to meet that gentleman, and he rode it around outside, but he's a really top-level expert and a great rider, and I had a little more basis of trust in him, let's say. But that much customization, that much added value is always in the back of your mind when you're riding it, and it keeps you really thinking about, if I drop this on track, what's going to be the result? And therefore that and just my own riding ability meant that this thing was never on a track, at least as far as my ownership of it. So the last thing to mention on the comfort side, and this has been said by a lot of people, is that it does put out the heat. Now, San Diego summer, stop-and-go traffic or at stop signs, the heat from the exhaust pipe, which curls around underneath this carbon fiber, of course it's carbon fiber, covering piece, and on the other side, throws a lot of heat into you. So I would never think of this as being a potential for a commuter bike. Not really. I think you'd have to be really dedicated and want to ride a Panigale of any V2 or V4. I hear the V2s also put out a fair amount of heat. But it gets to the point where you really think, hey, I'm going to pull over for the side and walk around for a bit and let this thing cool down. But they are known for putting out that heat. That's the ownership experience I've got. I wanted to share it with everybody before it does leave town and head off to its new owner, who I'm very excited to see get this machine. If you have questions or comments about the V4S as the base machine, as Ducati makes or sells it, and as it's been modified by Jared Campisi and Dado Rados, please let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them, and I'll let it go on to its next owner. In any case, it's been a pleasure, and I will, as I say, be standing on the side of the road with a fair amount of regret. So that's the wrap up. that's the whole story. It's been a pleasure to own it. I enjoy just walking out in the garage and seeing it sitting there and just thinking about it. Enjoy the heck out of riding it, and wish the next owner well. And I'm going to try to put together a little something where he and I will go over and be in conversation, and hopefully he can share a little bit and I can share back with you. That's all for now. Ride safe out there and say goodbye to the Phantom.